Jeff?
Yep.
And O.J. Simpson. And this young man took a number that I don't really think he understands the good and the bad.
All right, now this is just Shannon making an assumption because he feels a certain way, so he's trying to ride that the whole way, and that even includes making wild ass assumptions about players that he probably doesn't even know. I don't think he knows this kid Perry, but he's just he's assuming Perry knows nothing about O.J. Simpson. I'm pretty sure everybody that watches football, and this is just me assuming, everybody that watches football, I mean, that are real fans, not those casual fans that just like to watch the Super Bowl or the playoffs or certain games because the stories around them, but actually watches the game, knows who O.J. Simpson is and knows him from his playing career. And I'm not saying that they don't know him outside of football, but they do know him from his playing career. And this is just Shannon assuming that this kid doesn't know because he can't understand and he can't make sense why this kid would take this number, knowing that in Buffalo, number 32 belongs to the Juice. I mean, this is just what he's battling with. And right now he's baffled at why this kid would do this.
That number.
Because there's so much good and so
much bad.
So to your point, this is the all-time double jeopardy. This is the ultimate two-way can't win.
No.
You can't win it either way.
Either way. Buffalo nor this young man.
Because O.J. Simpson was so great on the football field. This is before all the rest happened. He was...
All right, and like I said, I don't like getting political, man, because I think it's just useless. It's useless being political because there's so much that's tied in with politics that it gets muddy, and it muddies up anything that's associated with it. So I try not to... I primarily do sports videos, so I try not to get political. But this O.J. Simpson thing, look, O.J. to me is not a criminal, all right? O.J. to me is just one of those... He's one of two people. He's one of those athletes who's just one of the most unluckiest douchebags that just can't seem to get the act together. Or he's just one of those celebrities who once your hands get dirty one time, even if you didn't dirty them, they just keep getting dirty over time, and you just, a lot of unfortunate shit tends to happen to certain people. Certain people in the spotlight, there are certain celebrities that it's just unfortunate the things that happen to them, and I'm more towards the latter with OJ. I just think that when what happened to his wife happened, whether he did it or not, his image never recovered from it, obviously, because it became a topic so popular that people just, even if they didn't know who OJ was, they just instantly knew who OJ was because of that. And it's unfortunate, especially if he didn't do it. If he didn't do what people are saying that he did, it's unfortunate that this guy had to live his life living with this. And I'm not saying he didn't. And if he did, it's no sweat off my back if he did. But it's just unfortunate. If he didn't, it's unfortunate because, I mean, OJ back in the day, it's like if like Adrian Peterson with this child abuse thing. I was almost, I mean, it's not the same thing as murdering your wife, but I was almost on the verge like, oh shit, Adrian Peterson about to be the next OJ. Because they trying to drag this nigga through the mud. But, thankfully he was able to, get away from all that, and he was able to continue his football career. But yeah, OJ is just an unfortunate story. Whether it's true or not, it's just an unfortunate story.
So great that it's actually disrespectful to that legacy to award 32 to some kid who has, 3 carries?
And 8 carries.
8 carries for 30 yards and 2 catches for 2 yards. He's a special teams player who has bounced from Bears to Dolphins to Bills, and who well might not even make this roster.
All right, so if you gonna ride that train of thought, then you gotta apply that shit to yourself, because a lot of people can say Shannon has every right to discuss football topics because he's a former football player, and you don't. No, it doesn't matter how many years you were a journalist. It doesn't matter what teams you covered during your early years anyway. You don't have any right to talk about anything you've never done. That's just like, you know what I have a problem with? I have a problem with not criticism. I have a problem with critics. Certain critics. Because like when I'm on YouTube, I see a lot of people reviewing movies and shit like that, and most of the time it's just motherfuckers that go to the movies. That's it. It's not anybody that's actually made a movie, had a movie produced, had a movie bought. It's not anybody that's written a movie. Nothing. It's just people that like movies, sit online, review the fucking movies. That gets on my nerves. Like, it just does. It does, because you sit there, you critique a fucking movie, but can you sit down and write one the fuck out? Since you're so knowledgeable about this shit, can you do it? Can you do it? And that goes for any critic. That's why I try not to critique anything. I try not to. I mean, sometimes I get caught up in criticizing, but I try not to. With anything in life. Even if I'm not doing a video with anything, I try not to. Because there are certain things that I can't do. What gives me the right to judge anybody for something? So damn, I was about to call him Shannon. For Skip to sit there and say, this kid who's only had 3 carries, that's 3 more carries than you've had. That's 3 more carries than you've even thought about having. And that's the problem with a lot of these, skinny little white guys who get on TV talking about what these black athletes can and can't do. You can't do it. You can't do it, and you're sitting on TV lambasting players that can do it. And that's my biggest problem with sports, man. Like, most of these athletes are looked at as animals, man, and nothing more. Nothing more. People's lives are complicated. People have complicated lives. People lead complicated lives. And that doesn't matter because you can't see anything past the fucking jersey number. Who knows what this kid... I mean, I've never seen Perry in the news. Who knows what this kid goes through on a daily basis in his personal life? And you're not making fun, but you're criticizing this kid's career. This dude makes more money now than you've made at any point during a year that you've been a fucking journalist. And you're making fun of him? If we're going to get into the realm of... If we're going to get in the realm of deserve and not deserve, then it has to be applied for everybody, not just who we see fit it should apply to. That doesn't make any sense. If we're going to say this kid doesn't deserve that fucking number, then you don't deserve to sit there and talk about this motherfucker not deserving that number. Shannon deserves it. The niggas on the jump that talk basketball, they deserve it because they play basketball. If we're going to get into that, it's a fine line when we start having these conversations of what a person deserves versus what a person doesn't deserve. I think he's earned the right to pick whatever fucking number he wants. And this is the problem with this number shit, and I wish it just stops. I wish it just stopped, because this kid has worked his entire career to be a professional athlete, and he's obviously good enough to keep getting fucking work, or at least get signed. So what the fuck is the problem? And when I see these athletes get on TV and they start fucking railing these fucking what do you call them? Pundits, these sports pundits on TV, and like Chris Broussard was being attacked by Kevin Durant. You spend your career talking about players, personal and professional. You spend your career talking about them, sometimes even making fun of them. And when they say something, you look at it as, oh, he just being weak again. Oh, he can't take criticism. Oh, no. Because in the mind of some of these athletes that's playing now with versus some of these critics, like if I'm Kevin Durant and I'm looking at Chris Broussard, I mean, like, this dude can't do what I do. How the fuck does he have the right to tell me what to do and how to do it? Like, come on, it doesn't make any sense. But we don't live in a world of making any sense anymore. We live in a world of how you feel is how you feel, and it's valid no matter even if it makes any sense. Like, come on, man. Like, there's like, and this goes back to the Daniel Jones thing. You know nothing about this kid. You don't talk to this kid personally. You don't try to get to know him. All you worried about is how you feel about that situation. That's it. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. And I'm not gonna say that's the problem with Skip Bayless, because this is just who Skip is. When Skip has a problem with you, you are the worst. You are his worst enemy, and he will let you know that. But if you, in Skip Bayless's mind, are his ally, he loves you. Like, I knew how he was going to react to Earl Thomas signing with the Ravens. I already knew how he was going to react. He started saying, he said all these great things about Earl Thomas going back to last year. The moment Earl Thomas signs with the Ravens, now Earl Thomas is this idiot that doesn't know any better. He was super fucking in love with Kawhi Leonard when he was in San Antonio and doing everything that Pop told him to do. Now that he didn't want to be in San Antonio and he went to Toronto, now it's number 2. You don't even know his fucking name anymore. For real, bro. These fucking commentators, man. I mean, they spend their career trying to make other people look stupid and other people look ridiculous. But most of the time, they just spend their time making themselves look ridiculous. Like, this is absolutely asinine, the shit that I'm seeing. I mean, over the past few months, man, the shit that I've seen and heard these people talk about is just, it doesn't make any sense. But then again, nothing really makes any sense anymore.
And you're dishonoring the number that OJ eventually completely dishonored and disqualified off the field. I give you that.
Yes.
But what he did on the field remains. To me, I still respect what he did on the field, because I can make a case.
Special.
Hey, just me. I think he was the greatest Buffalo Bill of all.
Yes.
Again, we got Jim Kelly, we got Thurman Thomas,
Bruce.
we got Bruce Smith, and their 3 numbers, 12, what is it?
78 and 34.
are
Yeah.
retired. Mm-hmm. And I just half suspected or thought that 32 was, I didn't know, retired. Remember, OJ's name is still up on that stadium wall and what they call their Wall of Fame. He's still up there.
Yes. And Skip, you got to realize he last played there in 77. He played his last year 78 with San Francisco.
He did.
So I would have thought the number would have been retired. I mean, OJ went to the Hall.
It wasn't retired. It was just taken out of circulation.
Right. Yeah.
That's what happened.
But
for both reasons.
But here's the thing, Skip. I think OJ went to the Hall of Fame in 84, 85. You mean to tell me from 85 to this incident happened, you didn't think OJ was good enough to have that number retired? Now, if you want to pull it out of retirement, Skip, after the point, okay, so be that.
Because 32 at USC remains retired.
Okay? Skip, people don't realize how good O.J. Simpson was. You take whoever you think the best back is, and he couldn't hold a candle to O.J.
He was the first to go 2,000 yards, and that was in 14
games. In 14 games. Yep. Skip, take the best running back today, whoever you think it is, and ask anybody that followed the game, could they hold a candle to that man? Everybody, when I came up, Skip, you played running back, everybody tried to get 32. Skip, there were offensive linemen trying to get 32. They say, son, you can't have 32. Because everybody wanted to be the juice.
They did.
He was it.
The juice was loose.
Yeah, get loose juice. And Buffalo, why?
I spent a lot of time around OJ, got to know him very well, especially on some of his movie sets. He was simply the most charismatic athlete I was ever around, and it's really not even close. And he parlayed that into Hertz commercials that dominated every football game you turned on.
Yes.
Every sport events.
Running through airports.
Yeah, you just saw it. It was everywhere. This is a little before your time, but he dominated TV in those ads.
Yes.
And he became a very successful actor. I'm not saying he was a great actor, but he became very successful in lots, even the Naked Gun franchise.
I remember he did.
And he had the one with the scene with, I think, Andrew Dickinson.
Oh yeah.
What was that? The burning. I forget the name of the movie.
I know what you mean. I was on the set of a TV movie made with Elizabeth Montgomery.
Elizabeth Montgomery. That's what Elizabeth Montgomery.
And it was called A Killing Affair, which is a chilling title for what was about to happen.
Right.
And for our younger viewers who aren't aware of this, if there are two of them out there, he was acquitted of double murder charges, but then he was found liable in the civil case that followed. And then eventually he went to prison for almost 9 years for what they're on.
So pretty much what they're saying is that they tried to pin OJ's wife's murder on him, and the jury found him innocent. Innocent. The jury found him innocent. And then they tried to find a way to put his ass behind bars. They tried to find some way. It's kind of like, it's not the same thing, and I'm not comparing the two, but it's kind of similar to what happened with Tom Brady with the whole Deflategate thing, where a judge pretty much threw out the Wells report, I believe it was, the Wells report that said that the balls were underinflated and, or deflated or whatever, and they were below the levels that, warrants cheating, I guess. But apparently it had holes in it, and it was tossed out, and he beat that case. But then the NFL gets another judge, and they take it to another courtroom, and that judge then says, well, you know what? I think you have a point, NFL. And then they gave him a 4-game suspension because he just didn't want to deal with that anymore. Like, he already beat this shit, but then, and if he would have beat that shit, they would have found another way to try to get him. And that's pretty much what the fuck happened to OJ, man. They just needed to get his ass. They needed to nail his ass down. And they just tried to find a way to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if information comes out to say that there was some kind of collusion going on to get this dude locked up. Honestly, that's why I say OJ is just an unfortunate story, because nobody truly knows, man. Nobody truly knows, and it's just unfortunate that he had to deal with that his entire life.
Charges for being dumb, but it was armed robbery.
Right.
He said he was just retrieving his own memorabilia. That's what he said precipitated this. But the point was, he disgraced himself ultimately off the field, and he's now out of prison, and he was...
And then I'm going to end it right here. He didn't disgrace himself. What he did was disappoint all these stupid-ass fans who loved him, because in their mind, he'll always be a killer, because he killed some innocent little white woman, even though there is no substantial evidence stacked against him to say that he did that shit. And I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying, come on. Even the fucking jury said he was innocent, because apparently the glove that was used to murder the lady it didn't fit him. It didn't fit his fucking hand. But apparently it had the chick's blood on it, but it didn't fit his hand. I would think that's good enough evidence to show that this dude didn't wear those gloves that apparently killed the lady. And I don't know. I will throw the shit out. But in the minds of these fans, he let them down because he wasn't some perfect fucking being. But then if you look at John Brown, the kicker from the fucking New York Giants years ago, who was beating the shit out of his wife, and that nigga still had his fucking job, nobody said anything about him. But that's it, man. Look, this number shit is ridiculous. It needs to be let go. I mean, if you're forgotten in the annals of time, then fuck it. You're forgotten. It is what it is. Move on. The only people that should remember you are your family, or your kids, or is your wife. That's who you should be concerned with, not random fucking people who spend their time on Saturdays getting drunk and yelling fucking racial slurs and ignorant shit down from the fucking stands. You shouldn't care about those people. But that's it, man.